Hi, Mandy Evill here, founder and CEO of the Infinite Mind Company and high performance and mindset coach. So today I want to talk a little bit about money. So for the next 10-15 minutes, we're going to explore money, what money means to you and for you. And at the end, I'm going to give you 4 tips in how to raise your money consciousness, if you like, how you can shift your mindset around money. So the first question that we're going to start with is, does money control you or do you control money? That's a great question, isn't it? And I want you to consider that for a minute. Does money control you or do you control money? Now, I know I have been through a whole range of different experiences with money. I've had highs and I've had lows. I've had money and I've had nothing. I know when I was brought up, we were pretty comfortable off. We certainly weren't wealthy, but we weren't poor either. But actually, as I grew up and as I became a young adult, I lived in a place with no money. I sort of ended up with no money at all, lived 10 years like that, very much on the breadline. And I've developed businesses. I've had great businesses and had a lot of money come in, and I've spent a lot of money as well. And I'm going to use the word spend right now, but I want to look at that in a little bit more detail of the words that we use around money. So if I look at my journey in the past behind me, it's from childhood almost. It's been very like this. And certainly as I got independent, I was an independent financial woman, it was very much up and down, up and down, up and down, until I reached a point where I began to understand my relationship with money. And that's kind of really what we're going to talk about today. So for me, that's what my habitual way of being with money was. It was very much up and down. So I just want you to have a look and see what your habitual way with money is. So that was my habit. Sometimes I would have a lot of money and then I would lose it, and then I'd get some money back. Fundamentally, it's interesting because we're going to talk about some beliefs. So fundamentally, I always knew that money would come ultimately, that I would always have money. I wouldn't be left penniless. But the habit that I had around money was easy come, easy go. It would come in, spend, off it went, and then I'd have to be waiting for the next lot of money to come in. So I want you to consider right now, just for a minute, what your personal story is. So what's your personal story around money? So just take a little look behind you in your past and see how you've been with money. And what I want us to do right now is to start to uncover the feelings and the beliefs that you have around money. So, and that's exactly what I needed to do. I knew that if I wanted to break the habit of up and down, up and down, up and down, in and out, might have been a big flow at times, but there was always a big flow out. I knew that I had to take a look at the habitual way that I was thinking around money, that I was the beliefs that I had around money, and what I would call my emotional state around money. I had to really examine that. So wherever you are in your financial journey, and I suspect if you're watching the video right now, you're not maybe where you want to be, then you're going to have to start to do some self-inquiry and some self-examination, because that's where it starts. If you don't do that, then you're going to continue with the habitual way that you are and that you deal with money and the way you think about it. So we have to get a little bit honest with ourselves. We have to get a little bit real with ourselves and do that self-inquiry, if you like, just to really examine and see how we are with money. Because it's only when we become aware of how we are with money that we can then shift it. It's all very well saying, yeah, well, my boss doesn't give me enough, or I just don't have enough clients, or it's this reason. Like an external reason. Well, if my boss gave me a raise, then I'd have more money. Or if I have more clients, I'd have more money. Well, I can promise you that doesn't work like that. It absolutely doesn't. I've been there, done that. It doesn't matter how much money that you have coming in, your habitual way of thinking and your habitual beliefs will absolutely control the way that you behave with money. So it's that habitual behavior. But in order to understand habitual behavior, we've got to go inside. We've got to start to look about what our thoughts are around money and what our behaviors are and our feelings around money. Now, Ken Honda, he's a great Japanese guy. He's a money guru, if you like, in Japan, and he's you find him on YouTube here. He talks about our money EQ. So we all know we've got an IQ, intelligence quota. We all know that. Well, here's the thing, guys. We have an EQ too. So, and we have a financial EQ. We have a money EQ, and that EQ is about our emotional quota. So what kind of emotions come up for you when you talk about money? In fact, this is a great question to ask. Do you talk about money? Are you comfortable about speaking about money? You know, you might say, well, I'm very comfortable with having money in my pocket, in my hand, or in my bank balance. But actually, are you comfortable about speaking around it? Because if you're not, then you will likely be coming from lack and limitation. So we've got to get our emotions, how we feel about money, in order, because until we get how we feel about money in order, then our feelings control our behavior. So we've got to go there first. So what is it that you feel around money? What is your EQ? So what emotions come up for you when we talk about money? Maybe it's guilt, maybe it's shame, maybe it's fear and anxiety, maybe it's superior or inferior. You know, a lot of people that don't have the level of money that they want, and they see people with more money, they feel inferior. So you might have sadness around money. You know, you might associate money with sadness. A lot of it will come from childhood. So there may be sort of trauma in your background that was related to money. There may be just sadness that's related to money. You know, you might look at money in terms of sadness with maybe a loss of a parent or a loss of a relative where you inherited it. But although you inherited the money, okay, there was a loss, there was a sadness around that. So the beliefs that we have, okay, and we all have beliefs, okay, we all have beliefs around money, mostly come from our childhood. They certainly come from our thinking, okay? So the thoughts that we continue to think around money, whether that's lack and limitation, whether that's doubt, you know, you might have doubt about money. Will the money come in that I need to pay my bills? Will the money come in that I need to have that holiday? Or the fear, you know, those thoughts solidify into beliefs. But actually, we all have had a childhood beliefs. We were brought up, listen, nobody lives without money, all right? We're all brought up with or without money, but we live in a world where there is money. And there's something that I want to say right now, because there's a lot of people will say, well, money's not important. Money's not as important as. Money's not as important as love. Money's not as important as friendship. Money's not as important as family, you know. Well, here's the thing. Usually people that say that, they actually don't have the money, the amount of money that they want. But here's the thing. It was something that my mentor, Bob Proctor, taught me very early on, was that there is nothing that can replace money. There isn't anything that money does what money does, and there isn't anything else that does that. You know, we don't live in a world of bartering anymore. You know, our bygone ancestors may well have done that, but we don't. So there isn't anything that can do what money does. So I want you to, you know, to consider, like, you know, for people that say, well, you know, money's not important, money can't do this and money can't do that. Well, a couple of things. One, there isn't anything else that money can do, that can do what money does. That's the first thing. And the second thing, that money is important. Now, we can prioritize money, of course. our families are very dear and near to us. But if we don't have the money in order to fulfill on our family's needs, then we're not meeting our family's needs, then we ain't going to feel good about that. And there isn't anything else that can do that apart from money. So we need money, okay? Money is, regardless of what you might think about the big corporations, about, the global corporations, and they evade tax and they do this and they do that. You don't want to get involved in that. If you get involved in that, you are definitely coming from lack again. But you don't want to concern yourself with that. You want to concern yourself with in your own world, your own personal relationship with money, okay? So we will be bringing a whole bunch of things that we learned as children when we were growing up. I mean, I'm sure, I don't know, maybe you heard the phrases, money doesn't grow on trees. Here's another great one. Don't be greedy, or we can't afford that. How many times were you told that you can't afford that? And in fact, how many times do you say, I want this, but I can't afford it? Can you see that how we have dragged things from our past? We haven't even dragged them. They've just been, they've just come with us. And now we live that in our current, in our current life. But you see, if we don't make the shift from that, we're going to continue with those same beliefs, because it is our beliefs that we have around money that create our money circumstance, our money situation. It dictates how much money that comes into your life, how much money flows into your life. It dictates all of that. For me, it dictated this up and down. I had this habit of this up and down. So just have a little look to see what your pattern is, because there will be a pattern there. Okay, there will absolutely be a pattern there. So how we feel is how we deal in money. How you feel is how you deal in money. And habits, and when I talk about we have habits, okay, a habit, I want you to think for this for a minute. A habit is something that we do unconsciously. A habit is something that we do completely unconsciously. It's like when you brush your teeth in the morning, you don't think, I have to brush my teeth. You just automatically brush your teeth. Okay, it's a habit because it's a habit. Well, here's the thing. We have habits around money. We have habitual thoughts. As I said, we certainly have beliefs, and we have habitual ways of dealing with money and how we are, our beingness, if you like, around money. So I want you to think, how are you with money? So there's a couple of, I don't know whether they call them personality traits, or a couple of ways that people tend to deal with money. Okay, so there's A, and A never has any money at the end of the month. The paycheck is spent before the end of the month. So they're always coming from behind, if you like. They're always in the red. So that's A. And you might see yourself in one of these, all right? Then there's B. You manage your money to the last penny. To the last halfpenny. Not that we have halfpennies anymore. But you manage it to the very, very last penny. So everything is calculated for. You know exactly how much you've got to put away for the bills. You know exactly how much you're going to spend on food. You know exactly how much you can spend on yourself. It's like absolutely itemized, okay? That's B. And then there's C. What do? You squirrel away a little bit. Every month, you squirrel away a little bit for a rainy day. And you know what happens? Have you ever noticed that rainy day always comes? Whether the boiler's broken down, or the car needs repairing, or something, that rainy day always comes in order that you use that bit that you've squirreled away because that's why you're doing it. You squirrel away for the rainy days, and the rainy days always come. So all of those are coming from lack. They're coming from a lack of, well, they're just coming from a lack. I don't have. They're not coming from abundance. And I want you to know that there is, and this was a story that my mentor told me once, you know, if we shared, this is really interesting, all right, so if we shared all the money out in the world right now, and I want you to know that there is trillions of money, okay? There's not just billions, there's trillions, and whatever the next one from trillions are, I think there's that amount. There is an ever flowing abundance of money. But just say that we shared all the money out in the world to everybody equally, all right? You might say, yeah, that'll be good. I might have more than I've got right now. Here's the thing. Because we have beliefs and we take actions because of our beliefs, and we have habitual ways of thinking and doing things with our money, within a certain period of time, not everybody, but with a certain period of time, the equilibrium of everyone having the same amount of money will begin to change. It will begin to shift. And it will start to shift back to where it was. There's like this thermostat, and we all have that. There's a global thermostat, that's for sure, but we all have that internal thermostat as well. So you know, have you ever heard about lottery winners having, I don't know, maybe 1 million, 2 million, and it goes just like that, because the way we are with money impacts the amount of money that flows to us, and it impacts the amount of money that actually we have in our bank account. So the first thing, I'm going to give you a few tips right now in a second, but the first thing that I want you to know is that you are capable. You are capable. Everybody is. There's a great book, and I can't remember the author's name. It's called The Having, right? And she talks about her mentor, and again, she was Japanese. There may be a thread there somewhere. That she was saying that everybody, every single person on this planet has the ability inside of them to earn a minimum of 3 million. Everybody. Nobody. We all have that ability. Well, here's the thing. I know for sure everybody has the ability to shift their current way of thinking to a new way of thinking and a new way of behaving around money that will increase the flow to them. Because that's the bottom line. That's what you want to. We want to turn on that tap. We want to turn on that tap. We want to stop the dripping, and we want to turn on that tap so there's a flow of abundance that comes to us, and it goes through us, and it just keeps coming. Just like the spirit that comes to and through us, energy, Money is just energy. It's nothing more than energy. That's all it is. It can buy us a whole bunch of stuff, that's for sure. And we get to use it for practical purposes. But it's just energy. It's just like everything. It's like this little toggle that will turn the video on and off. All this is just energy. Everything is energy. We're energy. But what we want to be aware of is the energy that we expend or that we give out when we talk about money, when we use money, and when we receive money. So just think about that for a minute. When we talk about money, as again, that's your EQ. Yeah? How do you feel when you're spending money, when you're using money? Now, there's a difference between spend and invest as well. And how we use our words is pretty important. But, when we spend, it's like, if you Google this, you'll see that when we spend, it's just like we're giving it, it's away, it's gone away. It's just going away. When we invest, there's a return. You want to think about that for a minute. So even when you go and buy or purchase, okay, there's lots of other words we can use instead of spend. So when we purchase, your groceries every week, you can say that you're investing. Of course you're investing because you're getting something back for it. But often we talk about spending money, yeah, rather than buying or purchasing or investing. They're much better words to use, okay? So you want to think about that, because the words that we use are a reflection of how we're feeling. So if we're feeling coming from lack and limitation around money, then we're going to start to use words like spending. Oh, yesterday I spent 150 quid on this blah, 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 you know, rather than I invested 150 quid. It's a very, very different feel. You want to try that out, okay? Try that out. It has a very, very different feel for it. So, so what I was saying was that, you know, we have, you want to be aware. We have this energy, that's what I was talking about, the energy. So we have energy when we are purchasing something. So money is energy, but we have an emotional energy that we release when we talk about money, when we purchase something and when we receive something. Yeah. So you want to start to think about that. I had a very, very dear friend of mine, and I used to buy presents just ad hoc. I'd buy her something, or I'd give her something, or I'd treat her. I'd say, come on, we're going to go we're going to go out a weekend away. I'll pay. Okay, I'm going to pay for this. And she said, oh no, you shouldn't do that. And it was always like she was resisting the receiving of. So we've got to be open to receive. And being open to receive will not come from a lack or a perceived lack. Okay, now I'm going to give you 3 tips. I think I've got 3 tips. I've got 4 tips today. Okay, tip number 1, okay, help others. This is the first thing. So if you want to increase the flow of money to you, these are some practical, absolute practical solutions, practical tools, some practical actions that you can take that will make a difference to your finances. Now, you might listen to these and say, oh, well, they were very nice, and then not do anything. And that's fine, okay? But my suggestion to you is that you listen and you take action. If you don't take any action, there will be nothing that's going to change, okay, in your financial habits, in your money habits, or in your money mindset, okay? So tip number 1, help others. You know, the author Neil Donald Walsh, he says, he writes in his books, give to others what you want, what you desire. When you give to others what you desire, the universe triggers. Oh, okay. All right, let's give you some more of that. The universe will give you more when you help others with something. So if you want money, give some money away. Make a monthly donation. Just give. Next homeless person you see on the street, I don't know what thoughts you have when you see a homeless person, give them £1, give them 50p, give them 20 quid, whatever it is, all right? But give away, give money away. Now you might say, oh yeah, well, Mandy, that's all right for you, but actually we're only just making ends meet. I can't afford. Can you see how you go back to the old belief of I can't afford? We fall back on that. It's such a habit, all right? Well, I'm telling you, you can afford it. Everybody can afford £1 or 50p. And I knew that I was going to come and do this. I thought I'd do a bit of research on Google, and I did. And do you know what? 12% of the population live on less than $1 a day. Now, do you think you could live on $1 a day? No, I don't think you could. Okay, $7 a week. And in the UK, we just say £7 a week, right? You couldn't do that. Very, very unlikely you could do that. And you wouldn't want to either. So given that you are not regarded as a poor person globally, okay, then you can give money away. Listen, the universal law states when you give, you will receive, all right? It's the lack mindset that stops you receiving. So you've got to start giving. So that's number 1. Help others. Give to others what you actually want to receive. So that's number 1. Number 2, make friends with money. Okay, let's get those old habits and those old beliefs out of the way. All right, let go of them. Now, what does let go mean? It means forgive. Forgive yourself for maybe some of the habits that you've had. Forgive your parents. Maybe it was your parents that instilled in you that you can't have the money that you want. Whatever it is, whatever those old hurts are, those old pains, those the anger that comes up, whatever it is. If you truly want more money in your life, that's the bottom line. You truly want more money in your life, then you want to let that go. And that's about forgiveness. So you want to forgive others and you want to forgive yourself. And you want to start to appreciate and be grateful for what you have. Because you're not in that 12%. I know that of the poorest people in the world, 12%. And that's a lot. That's a lot out of 7 billion. Okay. In fact, it's 860 million people. 860 million people live on less than $1 a day. That's not you. So you start to appreciate what you have. Start to appreciate the phone or the laptop that you're watching this on. You purchased that. You have money, so start to appreciate what you do have. Both in terms of money, but both in terms of what you've got materialistically, what you've got with your family. Just start to appreciate your life and start to be grateful. Okay? So that's number 2. What that's going to do, by the way, is that's going to raise your vibration, and it's going to raise your vibration abundantly. All right? So you're going to start to attract more of what you're appreciating. It's an abundant vibration. All right? So that's number 2. Make friends with money. So number 3, you want to create new beliefs. All right. So you're going to have some old beliefs. This is why I'm saying you got to do the work. You want more money, you've got to do the work. And I'm not talking about going out and working hard physically outside in your job or your business. I'm talking about working. You've got to do the work here inside. All right. So start looking at the beliefs that you have around money. How do I do that? All right, start looking at what you think around money. Start looking at your feelings around money. What your feelings are will determine and give you an indication of some of the beliefs you have. All right, and then you want to start to make new beliefs. Like, what new belief would be more helpful? What new belief would be more helpful? That I'm worthy of all the money, of the abundance of money that comes through. I'm worthy of that. You know, this is my mentor, Bob. I'm so happy and grateful now that money flows to me abundantly from multiple sources on a continuous basis. That was Bob's affirmation around money. You know, find a belief and find an affirmation that's going to work for you. Okay? Make sure it's in the present tense, not future tense. And then write that out. That's your mantra. That's going to be becoming your money mantra. Okay? So that's number 3. And in fact, write it out and put it on your bathroom mirror. Okay? Put it on your bathroom mirror so that when you do brush your teeth habitually every day, you see it and it reminds you to say it. Okay? So you want to say it multiple times and get yourself into that vibration. So that's number 3. Number 4. It's really important. This is in 2 parts. Okay. You got to know how much you want. Okay. Know how much you want. Like, I speak to a lot of people and they say, oh yeah, I want financial freedom. Well, yeah, well, what's that? If you don't know how much money you want in your bank account or how much money you want flowing to, you need to be very specific about this. Then you're giving the universe, if you like, a very vague number. You've got to know. If you want an extra 10 grand in your account every month, then say 10 grand. I want 10 grand every month. I want 10 grand. If you want 50, if you want 83.33, okay, 83,000.33, that's $1 million in a year. Then say that. So get specific about the amount of money that you want. And this is the critical thing. It's not the money that you want. Now you might say to me, Mandy, yes it is. I truly, truly want the money. It's not. It's what you'll do with the money that's important. So you want to write out all the things that you'll do with that money. What will you do with that money? What's it for? Because it ain't just going to sit in your bank account. If it does, then it's not going to be working, because money flows. Money is like water. It's like a stream. It will just keep flowing. And that's all it does. It circulates like our blood, like the earth around the moon, and the earth around the sun. It circulates, and money circulates. So what are you going to do with the money? What is it you want it for? So you've got to know that. You don't want it just for the sake of having money. You want it because you want to buy something, and that buying of something is going to make you feel better. And it might be for you. It might be for somebody else. It might be for your family. It could be for anything. It doesn't matter. So you've got to know what you want to do with it. Okay? So 4 things to do around money to increase the flow of money to you. All right? 1, help others. Give what you want. 2, make friends with money. 3, create a new belief in an affirmation. And 4, 2 parts with 4, know exactly how much you want and what do you want to do with it. Guys, that's all about money today, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.